The phone shattered the bedroom silence, yanking me from deep sleep. I knew good news doesn't come at such hours. When I heard Mike's voice, after 15 years of silence, my heart skipped a beat. Jack, she's back. Emily's back, and she knows what happened that night. I sat up in bed, trying to cope with the sudden dizziness. 15 years is a long time to keep a secret buried, but apparently not long enough. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead as memories of that night at Lake Madison came flooding back with new force. Where is she? My voice sounded foreign, hoarse from the fear I had tried so long to forget. She's staying at the Highland Hotel. Tom saw her yesterday. She was asking about us, Jack. About all of us. I closed my eyes, trying to collect my thoughts. 15 years ago, we were just a group of carefree students celebrating college graduation. 5 best friends, me, Mike, Tom, Brian, and Emily. We swore eternal friendship, but that night everything changed. That night we lost Emily. At least, that's what we thought. That's impossible, Mike. We saw her, we all saw. I know what we saw, damn it. Mike's voice trembled. But it's her, Jack. Tom is sure, and so am I. It's Emily. I got out of bed and walked to the window. The night city sparkled with lights, knowing nothing about how my past had just burst into my present. I thought I had buried these memories long ago, but they were always here, waiting for the right moment to return. We need to meet, all of us, I finally said. Call Tom and Brian. Tell them I'll be at your place in an hour. Hanging up, I allowed myself a moment of weakness. My knees buckled, and I slid down the wall to the floor. If Emily really had returned, then everything we had believed for the past 15 years was a lie. And if she knows the truth about that night god, what then? Mike's house was a 30-minute drive from my apartment. Over the years, he had made a good career in real estate and now lived in a prestigious neighborhood. I parked next to Tom's familiar SUV, so he was already here. Mike opened the door before I could ring the bell. He had aged, his temples had grayed, and there was anxiety in his eyes that I had never seen before. Ryan will be here soon, he said instead of a greeting. Tom was sitting in the living room, clutching a glass of whiskey. He had always been the biggest of us, a former college football star. Now he looked smaller, as if something inside him had shrunk from fear. Jack, he nodded to me. Good to see you, though the circumstances tell me everything. I sat across from him. How did you recognize her? It's been 15 years. Tom took a sip and put the glass on the table. I was at the Highland for a business dinner. I was leaving the restaurant when I saw her in the lobby. At first, I thought I was going crazy, but it was her, Jack. The same eyes. She's changed, of course. Hair shorter, carries herself differently. But it's Emily. Did you talk to her? No. She didn't see me. I just froze. Then I heard her asking the front desk about local attractions. And her voice, it's definitely her. The doorbell interrupted our conversation. Mike went to answer, and a minute later Brian entered the room. Of all of us, he had changed the most. Once a cheerful and carefree guy, now he looked haggard, with deep wrinkles around his mouth and a dull gaze. So it's true, he said, looking us over. He's back. We were silent, not knowing where to begin. 15 years of silence and avoiding each other, and now we're together again, bound by a secret we swore to take to our graves. What do we do? Tom finally asked. First, we need to make sure it's really her, I replied. Maybe it's just a similar-looking woman. A coincidence. It's not a coincidence, Tom said firmly. I'd recognize her anywhere, but we saw her. Brian couldn't finish the sentence. We saw her fall, Mike said quietly, but we never found the body. Remember? We searched all night, but the current was strong. I closed my eyes, remembering that night. We were drunk, celebrating graduation at Brian's lake house. Emily was furious. She was yelling at us, threatening to tell tell everything. Then there was an argument, a pushing. She fell from the pier into the dark water. We saw her trying to swim, then she disappeared under the water. We searched until dawn but found nothing, and decided she had drowned. If she's alive, why didn't she come forward earlier? Brian asked. Why now, after 15 years? Maybe she lost her memory, Tom suggested. Or maybe she's been planning revenge all this time. Those words sent a chill down my spine. Revenge. The word hung in the air, unspoken but palpable. We need to talk to her, I said decisively. Find out what she remembers and what she wants. Are you crazy? Brian jumped up. If she knows what really happened, we'll all end up behind bars. We don't know if she remembers anything, Mike objected. Maybe she really lost her memory and just came back to reconstruct her past. Or she remembers everything and is going to destroy us, Tom remarked grimly. I understood their fear. Each of us now had our own life. Mike became a successful realtor, Tom a respected surgeon, Brian a school teacher, and AI built a career as a journalist specializing in crime stories. The irony of fate. I'll talk to her, I said finally. Lone. I'll find out what she knows and what she wants. It's too dangerous. Mike shook his head. We have no choice. If we all show up together, it will look like a threat. I'll go alone. No one objected. Deep down, each of us knew I was right, and perhaps each was glad it wasn't him who had to look Emily in the eye after everything that happened. A Highland hotel was one of the most luxurious in the city. I was nervous entering the spacious lobby with marble columns and crystal chandeliers. I wore a business suit. I wanted to look confident, though inside I was clenched with fear. I'm looking for a guest named Emily, I told a receptionist, trying to keep my voice steady. Emily Parker. A girl at the desk checked the computer and shook her head. We don't have a guest by that name, sir. Of course. It was stupid to think she would use her real name. If she really was planning something, she would have taken precautions. She might be registered under a different name, I said. She's an old friend. We haven't seen each other for many years. I was told she's staying here. The receptionist smiled politely. I can't disclose information about our guests, sir. But if you'd like to leave a message, I can pass it on when the guest appears. I was about to leave when I felt someone watching me. Turning slowly, I saw her. She was sitting in the hotel bar, observing me. Our eyes met, and time seemed to stop. Emily. It really was her. Older, with short hair instead of the long locks I remembered, but undoubtedly her. The same piercing green eyes, the same curve of her lips. She looked at me without surprise, as if expecting my appearance. I slowly approached the bar, feeling each step was difficult. She didn't look away, calmly watching my approach. Hello, Jack, she said when I stopped at her table. I knew you would come. Her voice. God, her voice. I had heard it so many times in nightmares, a scream cut short by a splash of water, but now it sounded calm, almost friendly. Emily was all I could manage. You're alive. She smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. Disappointed? No. God, no. We thought we searched for you all night. Sit down, Jack. She pointed to the chair opposite. We have a lot to talk about. I sat down, not taking my eyes off her. She looked good, well-groomed, confident. She wore an elegant black dress and a pearl necklace. Nothing like the impulsive student I remembered. How did you survive? I finally asked. She sipped from her wine glass before answering. The current carried me downstream. I was unconscious when fishermen found me. Spent 2 weeks in a coma. When I woke up, I didn't remember who I was or what happened to me. Amnesia? I couldn't believe such a coincidence. Yes, a classic case. Doctors said it was due to head trauma and shock. I remembered my name, but nothing about my life. No one was looking for me. You all decided I had drowned, didn't you? There was no accusation in her voice, just a statement of fact. That scared me more than if she had been shouting. We looked for you, Emily. All night, we called rescuers. They searched the entire lake, but you didn't report my disappearance, did you? Didn't go to the police. I was silent. What could I say? That we were too scared? That we feared questions about why she fell into the water? It doesn't matter, she waved her hand. That was a long time ago. I built a new life. Moved to California, graduated from another college, became an architect. I have a good career, Jack. Then why did you come back? This question troubled me the most. She looked at me for a long time, as if deciding whether to tell the truth or not. My memory started coming back a few months ago. First in fragments, then more clearly. I remembered college, our friends, and that night at the lake. My heart stopped. What exactly do you remember? Enough, she set her glass aside. I remember that we argued, that I threatened to tell about what you did to Sarah Johnson. Sarah's name hit me like a slap. Sarah Johnson, a freshman who accused us of rape at a fraternity party. We all denied it, claiming the sex was consensual. 4 guys against 1 girl. The university hushed it up, and Sarah soon transferred to another college. Emily knew the truth. She wasn't at that party, but later I, drunk and guilty, told her everything. She was furious, threatened to go to the dean, to the police. We begged her not to. And then, that night at the lake, she brought it up again. Emily, I don't. She raised her hand, stopping me. That's not why I came back. Then why? To finish what I started 15 years ago. To restore justice. The blood drained from my face. Are you going to report us to the police? After all these years? Police? She laughed, but there was no joy in it. No, Jack. The statute of limitations on Sarah's case expired long ago, and there's no evidence left. I'm talking about a different kind of justice. What kind? She leaned closer, and I saw something in her eyes that sent a chill down my spine. I want you to feel what Sarah felt. Helplessness, fear, the understanding that no one will come to help. Are you threatening us? I'm promising you, she smiled, and that smile was more frightening than any threat. Each of you will get what you deserve. Starting with you, Jack. What do you mean? Instead of answering, she took an envelope from her purse and placed it on the table. Open it when you get home, and tell the others I'll visit each of them personally. She stood up, leaving money for the wine. It was nice to see you, Jack. Until we meet again. I watched her leave, a slender figure in a black dress, confident stride. Only when she disappeared behind the elevator doors could I breathe. The envelope lay on the table, an ordinary white envelope with no writing. I took it, feeling a strange weight, as if there was something more inside than just paper. Back home, I immediately called the others. We agreed to meet in the morning, but now I had to tell them about my meeting with Emily. She remembers everything. I told Mike, and she's threatening us. Damn, I knew it. What does she want? Money? No. She talks about justice, about making us feel what Sarah felt. Silence fell. Sarah Johnson, a name we hadn't spoken in 15 years. She gave me an envelope. I continued, told me to open it when I got home. Open it. Mike's voice was tense. We need to know what we're dealing with. I hung up and took the envelope. My hands trembled as I tore the paper. Inside was a photograph and a note. The photograph was taken this morning, me leaving my house, heading to work. The note contained just one line. You think you know what fear is, but this is just the beginning. I felt cold sweat run down my back. She had been watching me, possibly watching all of us. Planning what? The phone rang, making me jump. It was Brian. Jack, I'm in trouble. His voice trembled. Someone hacked my computer. All my files, personal photos, everything's been posted online. And my school received an anonymous letter accusing me of harassing students. God, Brian, it's not true, Jack. I never, but there are fake photos, correspondence. It looks real. I've been suspended pending investigation. I closed my eyes. So it had begun. Emily wasn't wasting time. Hang in there, Brian. We'll figure this out. We'll meet tomorrow at Mike's as planned. But before I could hang up, the phone rang again. This time it was Tom. Jack, you need to come to the hospital. Something strange happened to Mike. I found him unconscious in his office. Doctors suspect poisoning. My heart skipped a beat. Poisoning? You think it's Emily? I don't know. But it's too strange a coincidence, don't you think? I looked at the photograph in my hand. In it, I looked so vulnerable, unsuspecting that I was being watched. She started her revenge, Tom, and I'm afraid this is just the beginning. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and fear. Tom was waiting for me in the corridor, his usually confident face distorted with anxiety. How is he? I had asked, shaking his hand. Stable but unconscious. Doctors say it's some rare toxin. They've never seen anything like it. What happened? His secretary says a courier delivered a fruit basket in the morning. No card, just a gift. Mike ate an apple, and an hour later he got sick. I remembered Emily's words. Each of you will get what you deserve. She wasn't joking. She really was planning to destroy us all. What about Brian? Have you heard? Tom nodded. Yes, he called. It's a disaster, Jack. If these accusations are confirmed, his career is over. Forget career, his life is ruined. Emily knows how to hit where it hurts most, I remarked grimly. For Brian, his reputation as a teacher is everything. And for Mike, it's his health. Tom finished. He has heart problems. If this toxin affects the heart muscles, he didn't finish. But I understood. Emily wasn't just seeking revenge, she had studied each of us, our weaknesses, our fears, and used them against us. What about you? I asked. Has she done anything yet? Tom shook his head. Not yet, but I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, checking my car before getting in, not eating anything I didn't prepare myself. She gave me this. I showed him the photograph and note. She's watching me. Possibly all of us. Tom paled. What do we do, Jack? Go to the police? And what will we tell them? That a woman we thought dead for 15 years has returned and is avenging what we did to Sarah Johnson. They'll start an investigation and the truth will come out. And what? Wait until she destroys each of us? I didn't know the answer. Emily had cornered us, and any way out seemed like a dead end. I need to talk to her again, I said finally. Maybe there's a way to stop this. Some kind of deal. What kind of deal, Jack? What can we offer her? I don't know, but I have to try. I left Tom at the hospital and drove back to the Highland Hotel, but this time luck wasn't on my side. Emily had checked out an hour ago. No one knew where she had gone. Returning home, I found the door unlocked. My heart pounded in my chest as I carefully entered. The living room light was on, though I distinctly remembered turning it off when I left. Hello, Jack. Emily was sitting in my armchair, leafing through a photo album. I hope you don't mind me dropping by. The door was open. No, it wasn't. I tried to speak calmly, though inside I was boiling with fear and anger. What did you do to Mike? She smiled, setting the album aside. Nothing irreparable yet. He'll sleep for a couple of days and wake up with a terrible headache. Consider it a warning. A warning? You poisoned a man, and you ruined Sarah Johnson's life. Her voice hardened, and tried to kill me when I threatened to tell the truth. We didn't try to kill you. It was an accident. You were drunk. You stumbled, liar. She jumped to her feet, and for the first time I saw a crack in her calm facade. You pushed me, Jack. You. I remember your face when I was falling. You didn't try to catch me. You watched me drown. I stepped back, shocked by the fury in her voice. Emily, listen. We were all drunk. I didn't mean to. She laughed bitterly. You didn't want me to tell the truth about what you did to Sarah. You didn't want your perfect life ruined. That's what you didn't want, Jack. She was right, and we both knew it. At night I did push her, not to kill, but to scare scare her, to silence her, but the result was the same. What do you want, Emily? Money? Public confession? Tell me, and we'll find a way to fix everything. Fix? She shook her head. Some things can't be fixed, Jack. You can only make the guilty pay. And how long will your revenge continue? Until you destroy us all? She came closer, and I smelled the faint scent of her perfume. She came closer, and I smelled the faint scent of her perfume, the same one she used to wear in college. For a moment, I was transported back to simpler times, before that fateful night changed everything. I don't want to destroy you, Jack, she said softly. I want justice. There's a difference. What kind of justice involves poisoning a man and ruining another's reputation with false accusations? Her eyes flashed. False? Like the accusations against Sarah were false? You all called her a liar, a drunk who regretted a night of fun. You destroy her, Jack. Do you even know what happened to her after she left? I looked away. The truth was none of us had followed up on Sarah. She disappeared from our lives, and we were glad for it. She tried to kill herself, Emily continued, her voice flat. Twice. The second time, she almost succeeded. She spent months in a psychiatric facility. Her family went bankrupt from the medical bills. Her father had a heart attack from the stress. She never finished college, never had the career she dreamed of. All because 4 drunk boys decided to have some fun and then lied about it. Each word hit me like a physical blow. We had been so focused on protecting ourselves that we never considered the full impact of our actions on Sarah. I'm sorry, I whispered. I truly am. But this what you're doing now, it won't help Sarah. No, Emily agreed. But it might help the next Sarah, and the one after that. She walked to the window, looking out at the night sky. I'm going to give you a choice, Jack. The same choice you never gave Sarah or me. What choice? She turned back to me, her face eerily calm. Confess publicly. Tell the world what you and your friends did to Sarah Johnson 15 years ago. Admit that you pushed me into the lake to silence me. Face the consequences of your actions. You know I can't do that. The statute of limitations. I don't care about legal punishment, she interrupted. I care about the truth, about accountability, about you 4 finally taking responsibility for what you did. And if we don't? Her smile was cold. Then I continue what I've started. Brian's reputation is already in tatters. Mike will recover from this poisoning, but the next one, who knows? And Tom, well, I have special plans for our esteemed surgeon. You're talking about ruining lives, Emily. Possibly ending them, just like you ruined Sarah's. Just like you tried to end mine. We stared at each other, the weight of 15 years of secrets and guilt hanging between us. You have until tomorrow night to decide, she said finally. All 4 of you, confess publicly or face the consequences. I'll be in touch. With that, she walked past me to the door. I didn't try to stop her. What could I do? Call the police? And tell them what? As she reached the door, she paused. Oh, and Jack, don't bother trying to find me. You won't. And if you think about running, well, I've had 15 years to prepare for this. There's nowhere you can go that I won't find you. A door closed behind her, leaving me alone with my thoughts and fears. The next morning, we gathered at the hospital. Mike was still unconscious, his skin pale against the white sheets. The doctors were baffled by the toxin in his system. They'd never seen anything like it, but they assured us he would recover. Palm looked like he hadn't slept, dark circles under his eyes. Brian was worse, his hands shaking as he clutched a cup of hospital coffee. My wife left, he said without preamble, took the kids to her mother's. She says she doesn't know who I am anymore. I'm sorry, Brian, I said, feeling helpless. The school board is meeting today. They'll probably fire me. Even if these accusations are proven false, the damage is done. No school will hire me after this. Palm put a hand on his shoulder. We'll figure something out. Maybe a lawyer? A lawyer? Brian laughed bitterly. Against what? Anonymous accusations? Hacked emails that look completely real? Photos that have been doctored so well even I can't tell they're fake. I shared what Emily had told me, her ultimatum, her demand for a public confession. She's insane, Tom said immediately. We can't do that. Our lives would be over. Our lives are already in danger, I pointed out. Look at Mike. Look at what's happening to Brian. So we just surrender? Destroy everything we've built over the past 15 years because of one mistake. One mistake. Brian's voice was quiet but sharp. Is that what we're calling it now? We raped a girl, Tom, and then we lied about it. And then we nearly killed another girl who threatened to expose us. Those aren't mistakes. They're crimes. Tom paled. It was the first time any of us had said it out loud, the word we'd all avoided for 15 years. Rape. We were drunk, Tom said weakly. We didn't understand. Stop it, I cut him off. Just stop. We knew what we were doing. We just didn't care. And now it's time to face the consequences. What are you saying, Jack? Tom's eyes narrowed. That we should do what she wants. Confess? I looked at Mike's unconscious form, at Brian's defeated posture. I'm saying we need to consider it for our own safety, if nothing else. And what about our families? Tom demanded. My wife, my children, do they deserve to suffer because of something I did before I even met them? It was the question I'd been wrestling with all night. I had no wife, no children, but my career would certainly be over. Everything I'd built would crumble. Was that justice? Or just another form of destruction? I don't know, I admitted. But I do know that Emily isn't bluffing. She will destroy us if we don't meet her demands. So we're trapped, Brian said dully. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. We fell silent, each lost in our own thoughts. A hospital sounds continued around us. Beeping monitors, squeaking shoes on linoleum, distant conversations. Life going on, oblivious to our crisis. Finally, Tom spoke. There might be another way. We looked at him, hope flickering faintly. What if we find Sarah first? Talk to her, make amends somehow. Maybe she could, I don't know. Speak on our behalf? Say she's forgiven us? After what we did to her? Brian shook his head. After what Emily said happened to her afterward? She'll never forgive us. We don't know that, Tom insisted. People can be surprisingly forgiving, especially after so much time has passed. I considered it. It seemed like a long shot. But what other options do we have? It's worth trying, I said finally, but we need to find her first, and we only have until tonight. I can help with that, Tom said. The hospital has resources, ways to find people. Give me a few hours. As Tom left to use his medical connections, Brian and I sat in uncomfortable silence. Do you ever think about her? Brian asked suddenly. Sarah, I mean. I nodded slowly. More than I'd like to admit, especially when I'm covering a story about sexual assault for the paper. I see the victims and I think that could have been Sarah. That was Sarah. I became a teacher to make a difference, Brian said, his voice breaking, to help kids. And all this time, I've been living a lie, pretending to be someone I'm not. We were young, Brian, stupid and selfish. But that doesn't mean we can't be better now. He looked at me, his eyes red-rimmed. Do you really believe that? That we can make amends? I have to, I said simply. Otherwise, what's the point of any of this? Tom returned 3 hours later with a grim expression. I found her, he said, sitting heavily in a chair. Sarah Johnson. She's living in Seattle. Works as a counselor for sexual assault survivors. The irony wasn't lost on any of us. Is she okay? Brian asked hesitantly. Tom shrugged. From what I could find, she seems stable now. Married, no kids. She got her degree eventually in psychology. Specializes in trauma recovery. So she recovered, I said, feeling a small measure of relief. Physically, maybe, Tom replied. But people don't just recover from what we did, Jack. They learn to live with it. There's a difference. He was right. Of course. The damage we had caused couldn't be undone, only lived with. I got her contact information, Tom continued. We could call her. Try to explain. Explain what? Came a voice from the doorway. We all turned to see Emily standing there, elegant in a simple blue dress, watching us with cold eyes. How you're sorry now that you're facing consequences. How you've changed, become better men. How did you find us? I asked, though I wasn't really surprised. I've been watching all of you for months, Jack. I know your routines, your habits, your weaknesses. She stepped into the room, glancing at Mike's unconscious form. He'll be fine, by the way. The doctors have figured out the antidote. You've made your point, Emily, Tom said, standing. We understand the seriousness of your threat. Do you? She tilted her head. Because it sounds like you're looking for a way out. Again. We're trying to make amends, I explained to Sarah directly. Isn't that what you want? Emily laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. You think you can just call Sarah, say sorry, and everything will be fixed? That's not how this works. Then tell us how it works, Brian pleaded. Tell us what you want us to do. Emily's expression softened slightly as she looked at Brian. Of all of us, he had always been the kindest, the one who had protested the most that night with Sarah. I told Jack my terms. A public confession. All four of you. A complete truth about what happened to Sarah and what happened to me. No legal punishment, just the truth. Your reputation's for Sarah's. And if we do this, Tom asked carefully, you'll stop? No more threats, no more actions against us? Emily nodded. Once the truth is out, my work is done. What happens after that is up to society, not me. Mike can't confess, I pointed out. He's unconscious. He'll wake up tomorrow, Emily said confidently. The poison is designed to wear off within 48 hours. No permanent damage. The casual way she spoke about poisoning someone was chilling. This wasn't the Emily I remembered, the passionate, idealistic girl who had been our friend. This was someone harder, shaped by trauma and years of planning. We need time to discuss this, Tom said. All four of us, including Mike. Emily checked her watch. You have until 8 p.m. tomorrow. I've already arranged a press conference at the Civic Center. Either you show up and tell the truth, or I release everything I have on all of you. And believe me, what's happened so far is just a taste. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and don't bother looking for Sarah. She doesn't want to see any of you, ever. After she left, we sat in stunned silence. How did she know we were looking for Sarah? Brian whispered. She's been watching us. I reminded him. Maybe listening too. Our phones, our homes, we can't assume anything is private. Tom ran a hand through his hair. So what do we do? Give in to her demands? I looked at each of them. Tom, the successful surgeon with a family he adored. Brian, the dedicated teacher whose life was already in shambles. Mike, unconscious, but with a thriving business and a fiancée who visited every day. I think, I said slowly, we need to consider that she might be right. Right? Tom exploded. About destroying our lives. About the truth, I clarified. Maybe it's time the truth came out. Maybe we've been hiding behind our success, our respectability, for too long. Easy for you to say, Tom snapped. You're single, no kids. I have a family to think about. And I have students who trust me, Brian added quietly, or did, until yesterday. I nodded, acknowledging their points. I know, and I'm not saying it would be easy, but maybe it's necessary. We argued for hours, weighing options that all seemed impossible. Run? Emily would find us. Fight back? With what evidence? Go to the police? And admit to a 15-year-old crime in the process? By evening, we were no closer to a decision. We agreed to meet again the next day, once Mike was awake. As I left the hospital, the weight of our situation pressed down on me like a physical burden. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Sarah, about Emily, about the young men we had been and the damaged adults we had become. Around 3 a.m., I made a decision. I drove to the newspaper office where I worked. Using my key card, I entered the empty building and sat at my desk. I opened my laptop and began to type. My name is Jack Reynolds. 15 years ago, I committed a crime that has gone unpunished. This is my confession. The words flowed easily, perhaps because I'd been carrying them for so long. I wrote about that night with Sarah, about our lies afterward. I wrote about Emily's threats to expose us, and about how I had pushed her into the lake. I named names, mine, Tom's, Brian's, Mike's. I spared no one, least of all myself. When I finished, it was nearly dawn. I saved the document, but didn't send it to my editor. Not yet. I needed to talk to the others first. As I drove home, my phone rang. It was Tom, his voice frantic. Jack, something's happened. Emily's been in an accident. My heart raced. What? What kind of accident? Car crash. She's at Memorial Hospital. It's bad, Jack. Really bad. I changed direction, heading for the hospital instead of home. My mind was racing. An accident? Now, it seemed too convenient, too coincidental. When I arrived, Tom was waiting in the emergency room lobby, pacing nervously. What happened? I demanded. I don't know the details. The hospital called me because I'm listed as her emergency contact. You? Why would she? I have no idea. Tom ran a hand through his hair. Maybe because I'm a doctor here? Maybe she planned this too. Where is she now? Surgery, multiple injuries, internal bleeding. They're not sure if she'll make it. I sank into a chair, trying to process this new development. If Emily died, would our nightmare be over? Or would she have fail-safes in place? Information set to release automatically if she didn't check in? Have you told Brian? I asked. Tom nodded. He's on his way. And Mike's awake, by the way. Infused, but alert. We waited in tense silence until Brian arrived, looking haggard and unshaven. Any news? He asked, collapsing into a chair beside me. Tom shook his head. Still in surgery. Do you think Brian lowered his voice? Do you think this changes things? If she doesn't make it? I don't know, I admitted. But I've made a decision. I wrote my confession last night. I'm going to publish it, regardless of what happens to Emily. They both stared at me in shock. You can't be serious, Tom hissed. You'd throw us all under the bus? I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm telling the truth. Finally, you can join me or not. That's your choice. My career, my family, will survive. I cut him off. It will be hard, yes. There will be consequences. But we can't keep running from this, Tom. It's destroying us from the inside out. Before Tom could respond, a doctor approached us. Dr. Patel, according to her name tag. Are you here for Emily Lawson? He asked. We nodded, and I noted the alias Emily had chosen. She's out of surgery. It was touch and go for a while, but she's stable now. She's asking to see someone named Jack. Tom and Brian looked at me. That's me, I said, standing. Dr. Patel led me through the maze of hospital corridors to the ICU. Emily lay in a bed connected to various machines. Her face was bruised, a bandage wrapped around her head. She looked small and vulnerable, nothing like the confident woman who had threatened us. Emily? I approached cautiously. Her eyes fluttered open. Jack, she whispered. You came. Of course I came. I pulled a chair close to her bed. What happened? Car accident. Not sure if it was an accident, though. Her voice was weak, raspy. What do you mean? Brakes failed. Completely. On a new car. A chill ran down my spine. You think someone tampered with them? She managed a small nod. Wouldn't put it past Tom or Mike. No, I shook my head firmly. They wouldn't do that. None of us would. She studied my face, searching for truth. Maybe not. Doesn't matter now. Emily, I need to tell you something. I wrote my confession last night. The full truth about everything. I'm going to publish it regardless of what happens with your press conference. Surprise flickered across her face. Why? Because you're right. The truth needs to come out. For Sarah's sake, for yours, for ours too, though we don't deserve the relief. A tear slipped down her cheek. I never thought any of you would actually do it. Voluntarily. I can't speak for the others, but I'm done running, done hiding. She reached for my hand, her grip weak but determined. Jack, there's something you should know. About Sarah. What about her? She's dead. Emily's voice broke. She killed herself 3 years ago. That's when I decided that someone had to make you all pay. The news hit me like a physical blow. Sarah dead by her own hand because of what we did to her. The full weight of our actions crashed down on me and I struggled to breathe. I'm sorry, I whispered, though the words were hopelessly inadequate. God, I'm so sorry. Emily squeezed my hand. Your confession won't bring her back. Nothing will, I know, but maybe it will help someone else. Maybe it will make a difference for another Sarah out there. She closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. That's all I wanted. For it to matter. For her to matter. She does matter. She always did. We were just too selfish to see it. We sat in silence for a while, the beeping of the hospital monitors the only sound. The press conference, Emily said finally. It's still scheduled. Will you be there? Yes. And I'll bring my confession, whether the others come or not. She nodded, seeming satisfied. Thank you. As I stood to leave, she caught my hand once more. Jack, be careful. If someone tampered with my car, I will, I promised. Get some rest. I'll see you tomorrow. Walking back to the waiting room, I felt strangely calm. The decision had been made. The truth would come out. Whatever happened after that, legal consequences, professional ruin, public shame, I would face it. Holm and Brian looked up expectantly as I approached. How is she? Brian asked. Stable, but she thinks someone tampered with her car, made the brakes fail. Holm's eyes widened. That's ridiculous. None of us would. I know, I cut him off. But someone might have. Someone who doesn't want the truth to come out. What truth? Came a voice behind me. We turned to see Mike, pale but upright, leaning on a nurse for support. What the hell is going on? Why am I in the hospital? We exchanged glances, realizing we had a lot to explain. And very little time left before everything changed forever. Ike, I said, stepping forward, we need to talk. About Emily, about Sarah, about what we're going to do tomorrow. As we gathered in Mike's hospital room, I felt the weight of 15 years of secrets preparing to lift. Whatever happened next, at least the truth would finally be free. And maybe, just maybe, Sarah would have some measure of justice at last.